Last, but certainly not least, CANN and Bottle, Jake Bullock and Luke Anderson, come on up to the stage. Gentlemen, your microphones and your timer.
Everybody knows that alcohol really isn't that good for you, but we don't really have another option. If we want to be social with our friends and go out at night, alcohol is usually going to be involved. And then we're left the next day with painful hangovers, missed exercise classes, and general frustration and disappointment. You see this trend playing out in no and low ABV, alternatives to alcohol, nootropics, and of course, cannabis. The problem with cannabis, though, is that everyone's had that really bad experience in college that's left us afraid. And THC products today are still pretty potent. In fact, consumers report that dosing is the #1 pain point in the market today. Many cannabis beverages follow in this same path. For example, they would be like the equivalent to going into a bar and drinking all of the alcohol you're going to drink for the entire night in the first 10 minutes. That's why instead of 10, 20, or 100 milligrams of THC, we put 2 in each of our little cans to create the first sessionable cannabis beverage so that you can have a few.
And if you're gonna have a few of something, it better taste delicious. So we focused on taste. We found the best ingredients in the world and formulated a truly unique product that you won't want to put down. Water, citrus juice not from concentrate, blood oranges and lemons from Sicily, grapefruits from Florida, all natural herbal flavoring derived directly from the plant and nothing else, organic agave nectar from Mexico as a sweetener, and California cannabis extract. And by using agave as a sweetener, we're able to make it taste actually like a treat, no stevia, no monk fruit, while keeping the calories down to about 30 per can. So when you think about people deciding between drinking a glass of rosé or drinking a White Claw, you can have 3 of these before you feel that guilty. And the best part, you wake up the next day, no hangover. In the future, we believe there will be beer, wine, and cans at every social occasion, and we're launching in MedMen and SoCal this Friday.
Well done. Great job. Did everyone in the audience notice that the judging panel was pretty mellow this morning? No, actually, what they consumed, what they sampled today had no THC in it, so there's that. But Mike, I know you're a big fan of CBD and occasionally, maybe some of the other stuff, but CANN and Bottle, what's your take?
So maybe I had that experience more recently in college. But look, this is one of those things where I think there's too much THC in this because, if you're going to have a session beverage, it's one that you're going to want to drink a lot of. So less THC means you can drink more of this before it impacts you. So, for some of us, maybe we thought 5 milligrams was our dose, and then we had 6 and everything melted. So, I think this is one of those things where there's a lot of experimentation that's going to have to happen here, and I don't think that the use occasion is going to pay off for everyone the way they want it to.
Mike has a great post on Medium about all this, so look for it.
Taste Radio.
Bill, THC, CBD, all these ingredients really at the forefront of the food and beverage category. Regulatory issues, as you noted, a big barrier to entry. But in general, like CANN and Bottle, what's your take?
Yeah, so I think the overall proposition's great. I am happy to see after you guys fed us 8 shots of CBD this morning that all 4 judges are still sitting upright. But I thought overall the brand proposition was great. I think it's really well formulated, and I think the packaging really stands out. So I like what they've done here.
Great. Mari, in terms of the packaging, the branding, the colors on the package, what are your thoughts?
I love it. I love it. This was a real standout for me. It drank well, it looked great, and it was just a really well-rounded product.
Yeah. Philippe, I'll put you on the spot. Is this something you'd invest in?
Possibly, but it's difficult for me because as much as I want to be cool and hip and hit the CBD and the THC together, I'm not a user for this product. So it would be hard for me to evaluate, right? Is this THC good? Like, is this good stuff? Like, I'd have to consult with Mike on.
I can help.
Yes. But I loved this product. I loved the brand, and I loved the functionality. I think the THC and CBD component, because both are called out, where one is activating of the other, I think that increases the functionality. Yeah, I think the overall product just hit me from a consumer. It made me interested, right? Like it hits you with the colors, it hits you with the functionality, it hits you with the taste once you try it. I mean, very good product overall.
It's funny too. The label, like the story on the label's funny. It's good.
Great, great. Well, let's talk about all the 12 semifinalists and sort of how they did in a general sense. I do want to note that speaking about your brand and telling your brand story and talking about everything that you've been doing for maybe the last 6 months, 2 years, in 2 minutes, condensing that all down into 2 minutes is extremely difficult. And I think all the semifinalists did an amazing job today, so well done. Okay, let's just do a quick debrief in terms of what we saw this morning. In terms of sort of market readiness, where do you guys stand on some of the brands that you saw, and where do they really need to improve upon to really get to market and stay on market? Bill?
Yeah, so I think they all did a really nice job, and I think look fairly poised to hit the market sort of as is. I would say the one thing that stuck out to me is sort of the label hierarchy on the packaging of understanding what's the brand, what is it that's inside the bottle or the can, and what's the flavor variant from there.
Yeah. In terms of consumer education, we saw some products, even like the ones with CBD and different ingredients that consumers aren't necessarily familiar with. How important is it to really get that conveyed to the end consumer as quickly and efficiently as possible, Mike?
You have 5 seconds, so you've answered your own question, right?
Oh, there you go.
Right there. I mean, I think these brands are doing a great job. Some of them very much need to decide which category they're in and take cues from those categories in designing their packaging and make, for ones that are in new categories, make that the hero. Everybody wants to make their brand the hero, and it's not always the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. The presentation was, Philippe, 2 minutes isn't a long time to, give an investment pitch, give a business pitch. What are some of the things that you'd suggest in terms of improvements? What are some of the things that you saw that the semifinalists did well today?
I thought everybody did an amazing job. I think it's so hard to be up on a stage presenting to a group of people. So I think everybody did an amazing job, much better than what I would have done. Yeah.
Anything that you would suggest in terms of like really whetting the palate for an investor that they can incorporate into future presentations?
Yes, and so the way that I look at, I guess, pitching and fundraising, right? You got to lay out the dots. You got to set what the opportunity is, right? Very quickly, like you said, 5 seconds, where it is now, the value, and then connect the dots on how do you increase that enterprise value, right? Is it through distribution? Is it extrapolating velocity and distribution together? I think in an early stage product, right, it's about presenting what the size of the opportunity is, right? It's positioning, maybe early traction, and extrapolating some of that early traction across channels that an investor could reasonably assume are attainable in a relatively short period of time, and of course capital efficiency, and then you put a bow on it and get a big check.
Mari, there's communication to the consumer. There's also communication to the trade, to the distributor and the retailer. What are some of the things that these brands can do to help get on shelf and then get pulled off shelf?
Yeah, I think on-pack is obviously an important piece to it, and the clarity and the message on-pack is critical. But we can't forget off-pack too, because consumers are informed other ways. So utilizing social media, utilizing the founder story, and doing PR, all that's going to need to work together to really compel the consumer, but also those retail decision makers.
Outstanding. I thought the judges did a really awesome job today, didn't you? Well done.